When it comes to alcoholism, whenever we avoid difficult conversations, what we're doing is we're exchanging short term comfort for long term dysfunctional processes. In other words, if we don't have the real tough conversations and we don't face it and we decide not to make a decision, we decide not to bring up the subject, we decide not to broach the problem to our loved ones who are in serious denial, who are obviously alcoholic, who show all the red flags of alcoholism. And if we don't confront that, well, our choice is to live with that. And what happens in that place? What happens when we decide to deal with the dysfunction, the toxicity, the horror, the nightmare, the frustration, the anger, and the animosity? What happens when that's our decision? So what's really happening here is that your comfort zone, which is your passivity, is decided not to deal with it, not to face it because it becomes too abrasive, it becomes too toxic, it becomes too much of a problem. There's too much, push back and forth. There's too many arguments, and you're tired of arguments. Maybe you're just tired, and that's okay. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, you got to take care of yourself. Your own mental health is just as important as the alcoholic's mental health. You do not want to go down with the ship. You don't want to have your own physical problems, because if you have stress and you take on that stress for years and years and years, it will beat you down mentally and also physically. That kind of stress can affect your own heart, it can affect your own life, it can affect your own emotions. And to be honest with you, you're worth it. You're worth taking care of yourself. Don't always be the caregiver. Look in the mirror and say, you know what? I deserve better than this. I want more than this. And if the alcoholic is unwilling or unable to make a decision or to go on and change, maybe, it's time to think about yourself. This is really a spousal situation, but, are you tired of coming home, not knowing what you're going to find? Are you going to find a body on the floor, passed out, or even worse? Are you tired that, when you come home, your home is no longer a sanctuary? I mean, life is hard enough on its own. It's hard enough to have a job and to deal with the world. And when you come home, you got to deal with, continue to deal with the toxicity and the dysfunction. Maybe it's time to think about yourself and distance yourself from the situation and take yourself away from that slowly or all at once, however it works. But you don't want to go down with the ship and just focus on yourself, because there's always so much focus on the alcoholic, but there's never focus on the family members who are suffering right along that alcoholic. And believe me, I understand there's lots of scenarios where you can't just leave the situation. If it's a son or a daughter, a close friend, or a spouse, there are some situations where you can't just abandon it. But be cognizant, be aware of your own mental health. Take care of yourself. Realize how this situation is affecting you, and take action on that. And again, if you need help with this or anything along any of these videos that I make, click on the link above. I've helped thousands of alcoholics, but just as importantly, if not more, I've helped their families. Again, please like, share, and comment. And again, we have a Facebook group called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism, which is becoming a very good support group when we talk about these issues and everything having to do with alcoholism. And again, thanks for listening.